For the advice, Maurice.
Oh, I'm here to help, sailor.
Gardening with Maurice.
Sensationalist bullshit.
Up next, it's Area 53 and Marvin Trill broadcasting live from his trailer in the desert.
A new planet found in space. Is it really a planet or a decoy put up to confuse us? Ghosts, time travel, and the flushing toilet. Which way did Newton's toilet spiral? And finally, are women made from sand? We explore deeper and get to the truth. I'm Marvin Trill. This is Area 53. Hello, you're on the line.
Yeah, hi. I'm a truck driver and listen to your show all the time. I see a lot of unexplained phenomena out there, especially in restaurants. I agree with you about the moon. We never landed on the moon. It's such a good fake.
Remember, the Russians, our arch enemy still, I might add. Them and the Australians and some species of dog, they beat us into space.
The only thing the Russians are shooting into space are hot dogs and monkeys. Kind of a Noah's Ark fast food kind of vibe. Hey, like that, huh?
What was you... It's on now, punk.
Oh, don't mind me.
Win this.
Bumping into, you know who I am?
You think I'm a bitch, huh?
We talked about it. Think, seriously think. Can it be real? Can it be false? We'll see you next time in Area 53. But be careful out there, wherever you are.
That was Area 53. We're sorry.
In darkness, you only have your nocturnal instincts to rely on. Ultimate Disc in the Dark, the electric, stimulating new game that's sweeping San Fierro. It's a non-contact, contact sport where you throw a flying disc in the dark.
I got it! Get him! Nail his ass!
It's a new competitive sport for the uncompetitive, an aggressive, action-packed game for those who love nature and living on the edge. It's harder than football. It's faster than rugby. It's about throwing a plastic disc and catching it. Pitch, then catch, run to the goal and score. Ultimate Disc in the Dark. Just like a real sport, only we made it up, and it has a great social side.
Oh my god, what team are you?
I'm on the other team.
Me too! Take that.
But if you catch it, you gotta know what to do with it. Some will struggle, some will submit. Everyone is laughing. It's your quest to come out on top. This is a great excuse for some serious fun and a way to meet people like you and never see them again.
Oh, that's great.
League games begin at sunset every night in San Civic Park, or start your own game. And because it's night, it's not too embarrassing to play a scrub version.
All right.
What you...
Baller, fool. Got him. Hey, you too close. Give me 5 feet. Take that. Watch yourself. Who you all mean, mother? My sight's on him. My legs in the air. Problem, fool? You that motherfucker. Don't push me. Hey, you need a hole. Back off, asshole. You can't move. Hey, you better watch. Got him. Popping that. Oh, now you're leaking. Baller, fool.
I wanted to know what you guys thought about the proposition to ban smoking.
Well, this is a simple issue. Smoking. Democracy at work again in our state. Seems like a good thing when you first look at it, but democracy only works when you agree with it. Then it's best to favor a totalitarian state. I'm not sure about this one.
I think smoking is an invasion of my body, and I've always wanted to shoot people. I'm right behind the proposition.
Me too. Thanks, Michelle.
I also wanted to say hi to my stepbrother Phil, who's been undergoing a hair transplant today. Hey, Phil. Proud of you.
That's great, honey. But if you want shout-outs, call the rap station.
That's offensive, and I'm really offended by what you're saying. I'm a smoker. This used to be a free country.
When?
Ha! Good point, Dolly. Gotcha. Yes, good point. But remember, our founding fathers grew tobacco. It relaxed them between stressful stints of genocide and witch burning. And you're so against raising taxes. Smokers pay more taxes than anyone. My grandfather smoked his whole life, and he lived until he was 32. So what I'm saying is, why can't we encourage more smoking and use the money to pay for better health care and some cultural programs, bringing expressive dance and sun worship back to the inner cities?
Worrying about the inner city has ruined your academic career, and this woolly thinking is going to ruin your chances of getting anywhere with me tonight.
Promise?
The thing is, smoking is good because it lets people make a lot of money, but so is selectively culling the population. So what I'm proposing is a change in the proposition. Let people smoke, but make cigarettes much cheaper and force everyone to smoke. That way we weed out the weak, make a lot of money in tax, and keep our national heritage intact.
Line 2, you're on I Say, You Say.
Hi. I listen every time to your show. Really made me think about the world in a whole new way. I moved out of the city because it sucked. Now I live in a compound surrounded by barbed wire and shoot and kill anyone I don't recognize on my land. Just want to say thank you. That's some quality broadcasting.
Thanks. That makes me feel a lot better about myself. Have you got a question?
Yeah, I got corpses from 15 illegal immigrants in my yard. I killed them all myself with my bare hands. Could I get a tax break for all this unpaid work?
Good question. I would certainly hope so. Ask your accountant if you can register them as dependents. Then hide most of your net worth offshore in a complex money laundering system designed to support the drugs trade. Then you can pay virtually no taxes and complain about how awful you think the whole country is, knowing you're doing as little as possible to help.
Cool, thanks. That's good advice.
I'm appalled at you, Mary Phillips.
Why?
Because that man has a garden full of corpses, and you're talking about money laundering.
Yes, it's a great opportunity for some profit-centric thinking.
You missed a wonderful opportunity to talk about recycling and organ donation.
Oh, God, give me strength. I married a fool.
I married a fool.
You know, when we first met, Peyton, I thought you were so glamorous with your long hair and big ideas. You were studying for a PhD in cultural ceramic history or
I said that. Thank you very much. I said that when I was seeking the nomination. I said, take a seat, everybody. And there wasn't a single chair in the place. I said, that Biden really is stupid. He doesn't know it. Where's Doug? Congressman. He's around here somewhere. Oh, there you are. Doug, thanks for the passport into town. Doug and I have something in common. We both married way above our station. Way above our station. I want to thank you all very much. Look, good afternoon to the Steam Fitters Local 602. And President McManus, Mark, thank you. You've been a great friend for a long time. I appreciate it. Megan, thank you for the introduction. I just got a chance to talk to Megan's mom. I think I embarrassed her. I said, call your mom. And so we just talked to her mom. And her mom, I told her, as they say in Southern Delaware, she'd done a good job on this one. Thank you very much, Megan, for that introduction. You're learning what so many others have found, that a career in the trades means a lot of stability, but also challenging work and a chance to be part of a strong community. You know, Congressman Beyer, you've been doing a great job for this district, and you're one of the best in the country. You really are. I don't want to ruin his reputation, but we vote a lot alike. And thank you, County Chairman McKay, for joining us, and thanks for the passport into town. Look, we've got a lot to do. We've achieved a lot because of all of you in this room and other rooms around the country. And but I'd like to look ahead at what's to come, what we're going to be doing. Just this morning, we got some very good news about the American economy. Every 3 months, the economic outlook of America is laid out on an official report, a government report, that on the state of the economy. It came out today, this morning, and I'm not sure, and I mean it sincerely, the news could have been any better. Economic growth is up. Every 3 months, we're expected the economic out, we're growing. Jobs are the highest in American number and the highest in American history. And wages are up, and they're growing faster than inflation. Over the past 6 months, inflation has gone down every month, and God willing, will continue to do that. Job growing. Jobs are the highest in American number and the highest in American history, stronger than any time in the last 40 years. And I don't think it's unfair to say that this is all evidence that the Biden economic plan, because y'all, is actually working. It's working. It really is. And there's no question. By the way, if my mother were here, she would have had me say at the outset, I apologize for my back when I'm speaking to y'all. I'm sorry. But look, we're moving in the right direction. Now we've got to protect those gains. Got to protect those gains that our policies have generated. Protect them from the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives who are threatening to destroy this progress. Look, you know, this ain't your father's Republican Party. This is a different breed of cat, as they say. You know, it's hard as it is to believe. They want to pass legislation to do the following things. I've been saying this, no one believes it until they start to introduce this stuff. They want to raise your gas prices. They want to cut taxes for billionaires who pay virtually only 3% of their income now. 3% they pay. You know, a babysitter pays more than that. And they want to impose this one I love. They want to impose a 30% national sales tax on everything from food, clothing, school supplies, housing, cars, a whole deal, 30%. Oh, you think I'm joking? If they didn't see it, if I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it.
I'm gonna give
and
you
folks,
a whooping.
The reason they want to do that, they want to eliminate the income tax system, because guess what? That's the only way that millionaires and billionaires have to pay any taxes. But guess what happened to all y'all if, in fact, 30% sales tax on everything you buy, from eggs to automobiles? Not a joke. And one more, I've been saying this during the last campaign, the off-year campaign. Doug knows. Look, here's the deal. You got to cut your they want to cut your Social Security and Medicare. No, this is the God's truth. It's almost unbelievable. And beyond that, they're actually threatening to have us default on the American debt, a debt that's been accumulated over 230 years, okay? And the interest on that debt, we've never, ever done that. So we have a rhetorical question.
I hate violence.
What in God's name would the Americans give up the progress we've made for the chaos they're suggesting?
How do you make
I don't get it. That's why the MAGA Republicans deliberately choose to inflict this kind of pain on the American people. Why? Why? This nation has gone through too much. We've come too far to let that happen. I will not let it happen. Not on my watch. I will veto everything they send us. Not after all the progress we made and how far we've come. Last week was the 2-year anniversary of the day I was sworn in as president. And at the time I was sworn in, the pandemic was raging and the economy was reeling. Millions of you were out of work through no fault of your own. Millions more kept their jobs, but they saw their hours and their paychecks cut. Millions of Americans. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed. Small businesses make up 50% of the entire economy. Schools across the country were closed. Teachers and first responders were laid off. For families that relied on a weekly paycheck and not their stock portfolios to put real food on the table, there was real pain for these people. I mean, for real. Some of you remember it. God forbid, some of you had to go through it. Real fear that maybe this time they wouldn't make it. But the fear didn't start with the pandemic. For decades, the backbone of America, the middle class, has been being hollowed out. Too many good-paying jobs in manufacturing were moved overseas by corporate America. Why? Because labor was cheaper. We're changing the dynamic, by the way. We're sending product overseas and jobs to America. That's how we're doing it. But think about it, folks. When jobs moved overseas, factories at home closed down. Once thriving cities and towns became shadows of what they used to be. As they were hollowed out, something else was lost. Pride, the sense of self-worth if you lived in those towns and places. The so-called effects of trickle-down economics and the policies of my predecessor. You know, they view the world from Park Avenue. I view it where the wealthy, in fact, and if everything works well for them, all that's going to trickle down and help the rest of us. Well, I come from a background where that never worked. But there's another view. One that I hold. And the folks from Springfield, or cities where I was born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, where I grew up in Claymont, Delaware, or thousands of cities like them. The view that says the backbone of America are the people who get up every morning, put on their shoes, and go to work and make a living. Folks, I've said it many times. Wall Street did not build America. The middle class built America. And unions built the middle class. Unions. Not labor, unions.
You're a prick.
Built the middle class. And I ran for president, my word, to build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out. Because when you do that, the poor have a chance to climb up a ladder. The middle class do well, and the wealthy still do very well. There's never been a time the middle class is doing well, the wealthy didn't do well. So folks, look, my dad used to have an expression. We'd say, Joey, a job's about, I give him my word to this, a job's about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay, and mean it. First major piece of legislation we passed without a single vote from the other team, but I got elected, was the American Rescue Plan. Why? Because tax bases were way down. Cities and counties didn't have enough money to keep things going. So what did we do? We gave states and local governments the money they needed to keep cops on the beat, firefighters in the fire hall, first responders on the job, teachers in the classroom, nurses in the clinics and hospitals. Literally, they would have to have fired tens of thousands had we not provided the means for that. Back then, only 3.5 million people even had their first vaccination because the other guy and the other team didn't think it mattered a whole lot. Now, we have fully vaccinated 230 million Americans. We've also reduced the cost of health insurance for average Americans as well. We passed a bipartisan infrastructure plan. We did get some Republican votes to get that done. An infrastructure plan larger than anything except Eisenhower's National Highway Bill over 60 years ago. A once-in-a-generation of putting once-in-a-generation opportunity to put Americans back to work. You can't be the number one economy, the strongest economy in the world, without the best infrastructure in the world. It's not possible. You know, the best trains, planes, airports, and the like. You can't do it. You all know it better than anybody because you're the ones making it happen. But think about it, not a joke. Last year, we funded 700,000 major construction projects. 700,000 all across America. From highways to airports to bridges to tunnels to broadband. By the end of this year, that's going to be more than 20,000 projects. Big and small, cities, east, west, north, and south, all part of it. Major projects like the bridge between Kentucky and Ohio. My friend Mitch McConnell and I announced last month the Brent Smith Bridge was built 60 years ago, had to close down several times for repairs and making causing havoc across the Ohio River. It was badly needed repair. We're finally be able to commit over $1 billion to fix that bridge and build another alongside it. That bridge carries every single day $2 billion worth of freight. Let me say that right now. It carries $2 billion worth of freight every single day from Florida to Canada. It's a major part of our economy, not just in the Midwest, but across the country. Folks have been talking about fixing that bridge for decades, but we're getting it done now because of that bridge. And next week, I'm visiting Baltimore and New York. We're going to replace a 150-year-old tunnel, the Baltimore-Potomac Tunnel under the Potomac River, which will allow rail traffic to move up and down the East Coast. I'm probably the only non-rail guy who's walked that tunnel.
What you doing?
No, I'm not joking. Still, last time I walked it, they still had lights that were on a string hanging down, leaks in the roof.
Where you been
Folks,
all my life,
150
baby?
years old. Nothing's been done to it. Everything has to slow down. And there's a great worry that part of it could collapse. But folks, nothing's happened. We're going to build a new tunnel. And between New York and New Jersey as well, replacing the tunnel is also in desperate need of repair. This is going to cut commute times, improve safety, make travel more reliable for 200,000 people making trips through that tunnel every single solitary day. And that's not all. We're going to, you all are doing it already. We're going to replace the poisonous lead pipes like you read about so much in what you're